The reserves are our nest egg, born of hard work and discipline. During the earlier years of economic catch-up, Singapore experienced fast growth and had a young working population. Our founding fathers made the decision to save the country's surpluses and invest it for the long term to build up Singapore's nest egg. They could have just spent it to gain immediate political advantage. But they were principled and had the long-term interest of our people and our nation at heart. In FY 2019, our net investment return contribution was $17 billion, or 3.3% of GDP, the largest single contributor to the budget. This is highly unusual and a very fortunate position. In other words, in most advanced countries, citizens today pay for the spending of past generations. In Singapore, it is the reverse. Citizens today enjoy the benefits of the savings from the past, thanks to the foresight and policies of our founding generation of leaders and people. Now you can work out the sums simply. Today, NIRC at $17 billion is more than personal income tax at $12 billion, GST collections at $11 billion. If we did not have the NIRC, even doubling personal income tax or doubling the GST rate to 14% would still not be enough. Tell me, in which other country are citizens able to reap the benefits of past savings in this way? So let us never forget that what we have inherited is very unusual and very precious. Let us be responsible and steward this properly for our future generations. Mr. Leon Pereira asked if we can slow the rate of growth of our reserves and release more funds to invest in our people and companies. I'm sure he's aware that in 2008, we introduced the Net Investment Returns Framework, and in 2015, we passed a constitutional amendment to add Temasek in the framework. This has resulted in a significant increase in NIRC that has gone towards various spending, including investments in our capabilities to generate future growth. Put another way, today at $17 billion, the NIRC is able to cover almost the combined budgets of MOE and MTI. More importantly, our reserves gives us the confidence as a small country with no natural resources of any kind to deal with the ups and downs in the world. This is why we have a robust set of rules to safeguard and manage the use of reserves. The President plays a critical role in guarding against profligate spending and to ensure proper use of our past reserves to safeguard Singapore's interests when needed. During the global financial crisis more than a decade ago, with global financial markets in turmoil and governments around the world scrambling to protect bank deposits, then President S.R. Nathan approved the provision of $150 billion from our past reserves to guarantee bank deposits in Singapore from October 2008 to December 2010. That calmed our depositors. I was the managing director of MAS at that point, and I can tell you that our officers in MAS worked day and night to safeguard the stability of the banking system, and totally conscious that we are using our past reserves as a guarantee. But we're also confident that the guarantee will be put to good use because it is to stabilize the confidence of depositors. So throughout that period, we had a very difficult time, but towards the end of it, we did not have a single bank run, and the $150 billion remained untouched. It went back to our past reserves. Singaporeans' money was safe. In 2009, then President Nathan approved a draw of $4.9 billion from our past reserves to fund the resilience package to help us overcome the global financial crisis. A year later, after the economy rebounded sharply, the government decided to return the money used to our past reserves. It did not have to, but did so to maintain the discipline that has allowed this unusual move in the first place. This year, we have not had to tap on our past reserves. But it was the same spirit of prudence that allowed us to have enough surplus this term to provide the fiscal support for our economy and our people. But if the situation deteriorates significantly and calls for us to tap on past reserves, I will make a case to the President to seek her approval to do so. Now, we can all do the easy thing and avoid the pain for ourselves today. We can decide not to raise GST to pay for our own spending, but to tap on our reserves and its investment returns instead. But by doing so, we will soon deprive future generations of the benefits that we enjoy today. What would that then say about us? During a parliamentary hearing in 2001 on the bill to allow the government to use part of the returns of investments from our reserves, our founding Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, said, and I quote, "What is the deepest obligation of any government? It is not to the present, and certainly not the past, but to the future." Let me repeat that. What is the deepest obligation of any government? It is not to the present, and certainly not the past, but to the future. We have a duty not just to those who make their views known today, but also to the young and the future Singaporeans. They are not here today to represent their interests, because they are not born yet. But we have a responsibility to them and to take decisions which are difficult for us, but which will safeguard their interests. So let us continue to keep that discipline and keep faith and promise to future generations of Singaporeans by stewarding our reserves well in our time.